don't. We have this great education entombed for all of us forever. So ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sharon Whiteman. It's my great pleasure and privilege to partner with Diana Hunter and Gary Knapp. We come to you every Saturday, most Saturdays, except when Dr. Nugent is there or we have a holiday, and we've been doing it for a long time and we love it. And it's, you know, I guess I get a lot of gratitude from many of you, but it truly is a selfish thing. It keeps my mindset on track and keeps me engaged. And one of my highest values is contribution. So that part of it makes me happy as well. So as we've been saying, Marion Culhane is a platinum presidential. She's a veteran personal development mentor and coach. And she brings those skills to us in the Manatech community for our Manatech business. Now, Marion joined Manatech in October 1994. She had been teaching her own personal development seminars prior to Manatech, and now she uses all those skills in supporting her team and others. They call their organization the Dream Team, and their weekly calls have been available to everyone since 1995. Marion visited Australia in the 90s and attended the first ever national event in Sydney. She taught her Breakthrough to Your Abundance Bearers training in Australia at that time, which her training, it assists you to release any limiting beliefs that you may have going on either consciously or underneath the surface. Marion introduced Quantum Think to Manatech in 2011 and successfully supported many groups of associates in self-empowerment. The Quantum Think work is based on Diane Collins' book, Do You Quantum Think? It's new thinking that rocks your world. It involves shifting our thinking to make our lives and businesses flow with greater possibilities and ease. Marion is a founding North American Associate Advisory Council member, and in 2012 was awarded the Giving Spirit Award. Marion has been instrumental in the success of the North American Women of Worth calls. They've been going for as longer than this one. And she's very grateful every day for being a part of Manatech. And she especially, like most of us, loves the Give for Real program. So Marion, thank you so much for giving some of your time, your Friday evening, to those of us here in Australasia and, well, around the globe.
Thank you, Sharon. Well, it's really nice to be with you. And I just want to say to you and Diana and anybody else who might be on this call who's ever worked with me, if there is anything, I'm going to just kind of start talking, but if there's anything you especially want me to focus on that I don't talk about, just interrupt me and say, how about talking about this? Fantastic. So let's all start by just close your eyes for a minute. I'm closing my eyes too. And just take a couple nice deep breaths to get really quiet inside and very present. And if you turn your attention to your breath and just pay attention to your breath, it automatically stops you from thinking. So just focus on your breath for a minute. And as you're getting quieter inside, just take a look and see, is there anything that you're wanting in the way of success that you don't have at this point that would be really helpful for you to move in that direction? And just see what comes up for you. Is there anything that's blocking you? Is there any beliefs you have? Any challenges? And when you get in touch with that, just at the same time, sort of ask yourself, what could I get from this call right now that would move me in a greater direction of getting to that success that I'm wanting? Okay, just take a moment to complete this for yourself. And then come back and open your eyes if you've had them closed. And the reason why I'm starting this way is because you always want to start everything with the end in mind. And because your mind has to know, where is it going? It's like you're going on a trip. You have to have the map. You have to have the destination. So I use this all the time. Say I'm going to a family reunion, and maybe there's going to be somebody at my family reunion that I think, oh, do I really want to see this person again? This doesn't really happen. I'm making this up. But anyway, what I would do is I would say inside myself, I would create an intent that this is going to be a delightful afternoon or evening, whatever it's going to be, and that I am going to just cherish these family members more than I have ever before and have the most delightful time of my life. So whatever it is I want to make up, if you make that up and you actually go to an event, or you, whatever you do, you're getting on a phone call to call someone, you always want to start with what is the outcome that you would really like to have in an optimal way. And the amazing thing is that all of life just rushes to you and supports you in having what you want. But what we have to start with is we have to know, what is it we want? So I'd like to start by asking some of you, what is the success you're wanting that you don't feel like you have yet? And that maybe if you got something from this call, it would move you to that place or closer to that place or achieving that. So I'd like to hear from some of you if there's anything that you feel is sort of stopping you, blocking you. What would give you a greater sense of confidence, satisfaction, fulfillment? So I'd like to just hear from some of you.
So if you're not familiar with the web format, there's a chat and you can do it publicly or privately there's a question at the bottom. So if you move depending if you're on a phone or a desktop, just move your mouse around and you'll see a little message that either chat or Q&A, and you can definitely just send those any questions. So one of the things that Mary and I can start, okay. I think the thing, very early I saw the science of Manatech and I studied that, and I had immense excitement and belief in our science. But the thing that's, every time I've had a hiccup in my career with Manatech and partnering, it's been about my own belief, whether I can do it. I can see people had more experience or people went faster than me, and every time I had to, I guess, got into a place where I wasn't in action, it was all about, for me, the most often time is about believing in myself. And sometimes I catch it quickly and sometimes I don't. So,
and what do you do here when you catch it? When you catch yourself not having belief in yourself, this is probably the biggest block for everyone.
I think so too.
Yeah. What do you do?
Well, I've learned to do, in the past and in historically growing up, I just believed it and it was quite rock solid. What I've learned through personal development is to recognize it sooner and have separation and start to have healthier responses in my mind to that thought. In that, and you know what, I heard something recently. Naomi Evelson is, an incredible Australasian leader, and she said, many people compare their beginnings to somebody else's middle, or, someone who's way ahead on their journey, been doing it for years, or have come into the company, into this endeavor with a lot of experience that you don't see. So they'll come in and go like a rocket. So I learned to not compare myself to others and to trust my own journey. And I tell myself that a lot and get down to my values of contribution and making a difference. And so I guess what I do is I coach myself internally to change my focus and mindset.
That's good. That's beautiful. Yeah. So I'm going to start maybe telling you about how I got involved with Manatech, because it really kind of set us up for success, I feel, from the beginning. So I was living in California, with Louie, and I went to a retreat in Oregon, which is the state just north of us. I flew to Portland, and I met a dear friend in Portland. We had lunch together, and then we drove to Brighton Bush, Oregon, which is it's a old growth national forest retreat center. Gorgeous place, gorgeous place. And it was with a teacher by the name of Gangaji, if any of you have heard of Gangaji. And it was in silence. So when we had lunch, when my friend and I had lunch, she opened her purse and she pulled out a bottle of Plus. And she said, "Oh, I forgot about this." She said, "I started taking this because I hope it's going to be balancing my hormones." And so I said, "Well, that's interesting. Let me know how you like it." And we went to the retreat, and in our silence, I was at nighttime counting my hot flashes, and I was having a lot of them. And it was like, I knew I was taking this natural product from Germany, and it had helped when I started it. But I thought, boy, that stuff is not working anymore, obviously. So as soon as we could talk, when the 2 weeks were over of silence, I found my friend, and I said, "Where do I get that stuff? And how is it? How are you feeling?" She said, "I'm feeling really good." She said, "I feel like it's doing something." And so she said, "When you drive," Louis came up for the second week, and he drove, and then we drove down, and she said, "When you stay in Ashland, Oregon," she knew we were doing that. She said, "Just look in the phone book for this woman, Ann Johnson, and just call her. She's the one I got this tape from in the Plus from." So I looked in the phone book when we got to Ashland. There were 5 A. Johnsons, and I just started calling, saying, "Do you sell something called Plus? Do you sell something called Plus?" And on about the third call, I got Ann, who became our upline. And we were, so this is the phone call everyone's waiting for.
That's right.
So Louie and I wanted to walk around Ashland and go to there's a sweet little park in the center of town. So I said to Ann, "If you just bring whatever you're going to bring to my friend's house, and she said, "I have an audio tape and I have a Xerox copy of something you can read." And I said, "Just bring a copy for my friend too. Of anything you bring for me, bring for my friend." And so we came back from our walk, and then we spent another night, I think, and then we started driving down home to the Bay Area of California. And as we're driving down, I say to Louis, "Would you mind if we listen to this audio tape?" We were in this really deep, quiet place. And I said, "It's going to be about hormones." And he's very good natured. He said, "Oh, sure, put it in if you want to listen." So because my mind had been so still, when I heard the audio tape talking about, and it was Don Partridge, the National Health Federation Conference audio tape. It was a conference he had been at, and he was talking about Plus. But more important than just hearing what he had to say about Plus, I could tap into something deeper. And I said to Louis, "They're up to something good. I'm going to get involved with them. Do you want to join me?" And he said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "It's network marketing." I said, "I don't care what it is." I said, "They're up to something good." Well, I think what actually happened with that was that from my being in this silent place, I really tapped into how the company was founded, which was Sam and Linda Castor and her family members in prayer, and that they had turned the company over to a higher, directive. They said, "We will be guided, we will," and so that's the energy that I believe I tapped into. Well, so what that did for me was it committed me fully to the idea that this is something good, this is something I'm meant to be a part of. And so I kind of started off from a place of, let's go for it. And I had never done network marketing before, so I knew nothing about it. And I was a natural networker. I had co-founded a couple nonprofit organizations. One was international, one was local. And so through doing that, and just as I say, I'm a natural networker. If I see a good movie, I send out an email to my friends and say, don't miss such and such, or I go to a good restaurant, or whatever it is. I just kind of naturally want to share good things. So I, you know, and I, it was interesting because I'd never done network marketing before. I had no direct experience of it, except I could remember that I had lived in Colorado, and this kind of acquaintance, he really wasn't even a close friend, had called me up and had flown to California and taken me out to lunch and given me some skincare samples. And for me, it was very strange because he was so kind of indirect that I didn't know he was actually selling this skincare stuff, and that's why he was taking me lunch. But later when I thought, oh, that's what he was doing. You don't want to be that discreet. You want to let
somewhere
people,
between. Yeah.
yeah, a little more directly what this is all about. But anyway, I feel like that deep commitment that I started from just really served me. And then because I love to read, I'm a student. I just started reading books, and they said, it's better to start quickly than it is to start slowly. And I got this sheet of paper that said compressed time, compact activity. And it said, if you're going to talk to, say, 100 people, don't spread it out over, a couple months. Do like 10 people a day for 10 days if you're going to talk to your 100 people. So I just started doing that. And Louis just said to me, because he had been in Amway, and he had tried Cell Tech, which is blue-green algae. And he said, I just need to give this up because I just don't know how to do this. I don't do this. And then as I started, he said to me, wow, Marion, you really do it the way people are supposed to do it. I mean, you've made a list, you start calling people, you're enthusiastic. So it was a good fit. It was a good fit. And I also kind of began just in a way that just really started us getting into momentum. So it was fun. There was a lot to do, and it was exciting. And my background's, I'm a nurse. So, and Louis has a PhD in physics. So both of us had these science backgrounds. So we really appreciated the science connected to the company. So, and then it took in those days about 10 days to receive the bottle of Plus. And when it came, I took it, and in about 3 days, I could tell my body was so much happier. Everything was getting more balanced. And in about 2 weeks, I felt about 20 years younger. I just could not believe it, the amount of energy. I remember walking to the post office, and I felt like I could turn cartwheels on the grass. I mean, it was like, this is unbelievable. I just feel so great. So, of course, when you have an experience like that, too, you're eager to share it as well. So a lot of things were kind of set up for us to feel good about it, feel right about it, and want to get going. And I feel like for me, one of the big things that happened, and it happened probably 5 or 6 months after we began, and we were enjoying doing it and meeting wonderful people and helping a lot of people and all those good things. And the thought entered my mind of, there are leadership levels in this. If you wanted to, you could be a top leader in this company. And I thought, why not? And I can remember where I was standing in the office when that thought came to me. And at that point, there wasn't even a thing called Platinum Presidential. But I just said, okay, whatever is the top leadership level in this company, we are going to achieve that. And just making that decision, again, once you decide something, once you know where you're going, everything lines up to support you. So, it started feeling more purposeful, more fun, exciting. And of course, along the way, we were meeting wonderful people and starting to build a team and going to events and just fully engaged in it in every way possible. And I mean, I was working 12, 18 hours a day sometimes, just passionately though. I mean, I didn't resent it. I loved it. It was like, wow. And of course, when you really get into momentum like that, you start seeing things just happen. So anyway, and I had been teaching people how to release limiting beliefs. So um, I knew how to do that, and I knew how to align internally, with what our goals and with whatever we were wanting. So that was, I mean, there were just, and I think the other thing, Bill McAnally, who's really the discoverer behind glyconutrients, he would use this term bashert, and it's, I think it's an Israeli term actually, and it means meant to be. And that was the sense I had, is this is all meant to be. And I feel like whenever any of us can kind of link into that sense of, I'm doing what I'm meant to be doing, I'm on track, I'm having a good time. And then I feel like our guidance clicks in. It's like everything rushes in to support us and lines up. And so things start feeling magical. So that's definitely a place you want to get to internally within yourself. Mm-hmm. But it does mean, as you said, Sharon, it just means self-talk and letting go of these things that, are just kind of clouds. You get, and you clear the sky so that life can just unfold the way it's meant to unfold. Mm. So let's see, what else?
We've got a couple questions.
Good. That's me.
One person was saying that they feel hesitant in recommending, they know that people would possibly need quite a big product order, but they feel hesitant to ask people to invest that in themselves.
First of all, I think it's really good to be transparent when we talk with people. So if I had that going on with me, I might say to somebody, first of all, I would want them to know, I'm knowledgeable about these products, and I know what they do for people. I've heard so many other people's stories. I have my own story. So I know the potential of what's here. But I also want you to know I have some considerations financially for you. So I kind of need to know, are there parameters? Because I can develop a program for you that's going to be very helpful, but I don't want to exceed your budget. So if you can kind of give me some guidance around that, and then what I would suggest you begin with first is such and such, whatever it is. And then if we could add on this, I think it would have additional benefit. The other thing that I think, the firmer our belief is going on within us, I mean, I can look at our Manitech experience and I can say, it's, in addition to my 3 children and Louis, it's up there as one of the true gifts of my life. And I know what the health benefits are. I mean, Louis and I, we are in such optimal health. The friendships, the skills we've developed, the experiences, the travel, the income, it's like it is so good through and through. And I so know that within myself that I just want to give that to others. So that's what I would do, saying to somebody is, this would be probably the best product for you to start with. And then and there's a way we could help you get these paid for, so what I would like to do is help you, let's start with getting your health, and then let's help you get these products paid for. So to be as out front with people and honest with them as you can possibly be. You have anything to add to that, Sharon or Diana or anybody or Gary?
Yeah, I think that's great advice. And I think when I'm feeling doubt about something like that for someone, I go back to the benefit that they'll get, and that it's not about me, that I'm the messenger, and I do my best. And if, I've just started someone in a similar position who's in a serious health situation on a large order. And I did pretty much what you just said, just said, listen, basically you have to throw money at this and it's going to be worth it.
Yeah.
And and again, we can't make health claims, but my favorite way is to say that I haven't seen anything or anyone who really committed to this and gave it enough product for enough time, not move places on the continuum of wellness.
Yeah.
So no matter what life is throwing at you, you can have a better experience of it, and it's worth investing in this. And I also tell stories.
Yes. So and one of the things I also say is because so many people have these either immune or autoimmune situations. And, both Louie and I know, I mean, we've never taken anything that's been as good for our immune systems as Ambertose.
Yeah.
So, when you can say that, and you really know that, I mean, that's lying for most people is they need immune support.
Yeah, absolutely. It's our secret weapon, isn't it?
Yes.
It's like the best thing in our family medicine chest for wellness.
Oh, we will never stop taking these supplements. And I've said to people, if I ever felt like the company would go out of business or anything, I would beg
Stock up.
Yeah, I'd buy $10,000 worth of Ambertose. That'd be the best investment I could be making.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's another question about somebody's mentioning that they find it really easy to, or it's Christine, really easy to start the conversations, but closing the sale or helping someone make that decision is tricky for her.
Well, again, I'm very overt. So, if I feel like I've said what I know to say to him, I say, is there anything more I could tell you for you to be able to make a good decision for yourself? What else is it that you might need to know? Where are you? What would you like to do? Can I help you make a decision in some way? So again, just to be as honest with people as possible, and I might say to somebody, I really hope you'll choose to do this because I know, the excellent benefits you're going to be getting from it. So we have a 90-day satisfaction guarantee. Hang on to your bottles, but if you take it the way, we're going to suggest you take it, I'm pretty confident you're going to have some good success here. So, people build off of our confidence.
Yeah. And I think, for those of you listening, the absolute best thing to do is go back to what their goals are. So, by this point, by the time you're wanting to have the chat and close the sale, you should be really knowledgeable of what would be important to them to achieve as far as their wellness goals would be. So then you can, reinforce that with them. So if they wanted to have more energy and sleep, well, if, I know countless people who've achieved that with these nutrients. It sometimes takes a bit of troubleshooting, but if in 3 to 6 months you're having more energy and having better sleep, how valuable would that be to you on a scale of 10 or something like that, so that they get connected with the hope and brightness of the future.
Right. Okay, let's see. So we've kind of talked a little bit about belief, and it's hard in a short period of time to talk to people about how to become confident about your belief. So that's why I've taught this, taken some time to teach people about that. But so much of it is about your intent and your commitment. However, if you are working through any kind of thoughts like, oh, this is so hard, or I don't think they're going to have interest, or anything like that, those beliefs have got to get cleared, or that's going to be what shows up. That's like the fog. And you do need to get rid of the fog, but that's kind of a longer conversation. So I would say get as clear as you can about your intent and your commitment and those kinds of things. And you have
So
any
when
about
someone's,
that?
because some people don't even, I know we're coaching people, they don't even notice when they're having a repeated negative belief or a pattern. So as coaches, we can help someone say, gee, I heard you say that a few times. So if someone becomes aware that they've got a repeated, like this happens to me all the time, what kind of steps can people take to sort of start recreating a new pathway?
Okay, so if you're working with somebody and say they're new to the business, and you get that they're kind of saying, I'm no good at this, I'm just no good at this.
Yeah.
So as you said, you might say, what I'm kind of hearing behind what you're saying is you don't believe you're good at this. Is that true? Um, so so for us to turn that around for you, what would do it for you if you said, I believe in myself, I deserve to be successful, I'm able to be successful? What might it be that would help you turn that around? And I would come up with a very short statement, positive, clear intent.
Mm.
And so this is the way I teach people, and if you try it, you can see how it works. So, so maybe they'd say, I think maybe underneath it all, I don't think I deserve to be successful. Okay, so they would make a statement like, I deserve to be successful, as short and to the point as possible. And then you have them, and people can write this, or you can do it with them. And you say, okay, I want you to say to me, I deserve to be successful. Or I am successful. Whatever they want to make it be. You can help them choose this. And then you say to them, what's your intent? They say, I deserve to be successful. You say, is there any reaction? And if they say, well, why do I deserve to be successful? I've never been successful before, whatever they say. And then you take them back to, what's your intent? I deserve to be successful. And you keep doing that back and forth until they no longer have any reactions, and they will eventually get to that place. The first time I ever said to myself, let's see, I'm a successful businesswoman. I could not even say those words. I literally could not say them. I'm a successful businesswoman. I had never, it was like it just didn't fit for me, my sense of myself, but I kind of made myself say it. And then I, went through all the reactions about, well, what do I know about business? Everything that came up. And finally I could get to the place where I could say it. I'm a successful businesswoman. And it's like, wow, then all of life just starts reflecting that to you. It truly is magical. And I've had so many people tell me stories after doing that kind of intention and reaction process. One of the women is Josephine Gross. She and Chris Gross have Networking Times. And I did a session with her around, she was with her perfect partner or something like that. She met Chris that night and she ended up marrying him. She said, Marion, it was totally out of you working with me saying, I'm with my perfect partner. She said, I just couldn't believe it. So it absolutely works. And for us all to know that life just flows from the inside out, how much success we have, how much contentment we have, how much happiness we have, it's all just an inside job. And so when we can get clear inside ourselves, we're just these magnets that, I'm kind of the longer I'm alive, I'm just so grateful and aware of how everything is filled with intelligence. Like we are just surrounded by intelligence. And that's why when we have these intuitive flashes, it's just that life is just flooding us with insights. I wake up most mornings these days with some kind of very unusual but valuable insight. I mean, it might be like this morning I went to the grocery store. For me, it's 4:38 p.m. So I'm in the afternoon, but I woke up with, don't forget on your way to the grocery store, da, 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 da. I mean, it was like that just came out of, well, Diane called it, it's the noosphere. It's like there is so much intelligence. And when we can pay attention and just be aware, it's there. It's always kind of guiding us and listen. I mean, it's just amazing how we're always being supported in the direction we're choosing to go, but we have to be clear about where is it we're wanting to go. And then things like who to call and tell about Manatech will just come to us. I mean, I swim every day. I mean, sometimes when my swimming comes in, be sure when you get home, give so-and-so a call. So for all of us to be really tuned into that, and I think that is happening more and more around the planet, like this solar, lunar, full moon, lunar eclipse thing we're in right now. Yeah. Every time we go through one of these things, it's like it's increasing the energy on the planet. And more of this intelligence is being made available. And at the same time, what's happening is unconscious material that needs to be released is coming to the surface. And I feel like in our country and in the world, Donald Trump is serving the purpose of triggering so much unconscious material. He is just a walking nightmare, and it's serving a purpose, though, because it brings up all our reactions and all this stuff for us to look at and move through to come to a place of peace and our next level of where we're going.
Well, that's a great analogy, isn't it? Because, with the, people love him or hate him, but with what's being exposed through his presidency is stuff that's always been there. It's just now been brought into the light or into, we're consciously more aware of it. It's right in our face, isn't it? And then for all of us, we have to make choices. What's our right values and what do we believe? And I think that's a perfect that you brought that up for this conversation, Marion, because I think all we can control is our own life and our behavior and our thoughts. And I think when we're talking about belief, and specifically today for a home business, I think if someone doesn't have any experience or belief in themselves in regards to being successful or communicating or closing or having a positive mindset, we need to go back and find one thing that they didn't think they could do and manage to achieve it or overcome it or become even skilled at it. And then if you've done one thing, then you can do this too. It's just a learning curve, isn't it?
Yes. And back to Donald, what I'm noticing in our country is it's activating so many people, and like the whole thing with the immigrants on our southern border. I mean, the people who have compassion and caring, just rise up and starts, and I just noticed since all that has gone on, every time I see a Hispanic person, I am so friendly and so wanting to reach out to them, and I think that's just happening a lot.
Naturally, yeah.
So there's
an equal and opposite reaction for good.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's see. And the other thing I guess I want to talk about, first of all, commitment. I mean, commitment is so bottom line that once, that famous quote, once you commit, all forces come to your support. So that's a really key thing for people to get in touch with and make that commitment as soon as you can. And the other thing I feel that's really important is gratitude. because when we're grateful for everything that happens that we're wanting to have happen, and even those things that aren't, they can be challenges, but it again, that just brings more positive energy towards us, because we really are an energy field, and like attracts like. And so gratitude, encouragement, support, all those beautiful things just reinforce one another and bring more goodness into all our lives.
Mm. And that brings me to another thing I wanted to cover today is focus, because that's another thing we're totally in control of, isn't it? Is what we focus on.
Absolutely.
And do you have any tips on how to, because I know for myself, I can choose to focus on the one thing that went wrong, or I can choose to focus on the 10 things that went right. And it completely changes my mood, my ability to perform in any part of my life.
Absolutely. So one of the things underlying that is, what do I want more of? Because whatever we focus on is what we get more of. So, if we're feeling critical or something, if we catch that, but again, it's about being present and being aware and paying attention to, what's going on inside me, what's happening around me, and then to keep focusing on what it is we want. So, if you're going to pick up a phone and call someone to talk to them about Manatech, if you have any thoughts going on about, I don't think they're going to be interested, or they're going to think this is too expensive, or you have any of that stuff going on, don't bother picking up the phone. I mean, it's like, you're just asking for trouble. So you want to get yourself in order first, and be thinking about why it is you even want to share with this person. What are the benefits for this person? Why you're excited and happy to be talking to them. So that's the frame of reference you're doing, is it's about them and how this can be good for them. And so really, I mean, I feel like a lot of times people go through a lot of kind of busy activity, but their mindset isn't in a place where they're going to get good results. So if you're in a funky place, do something to make yourself happy and feeling positive and good, or don't even make the call, because it really is a waste of time.
Yeah. And I think I've seen people, Marion, you would have comments and experience with this, but I've seen people manufacture that happy. So a great example is another one of our incredible Australasian leaders, Karen Dennis. She runs around the house going, I'm happy and grateful for, or something similar to that. And then, I think she used it for a lot of her achievements and milestones within Manatech, but you can do that for anything, so that you're forcing yourself to focus on the positive. Sometimes you have to let go and have a funky time for a couple of days. And then as soon as you feel a bit of light coming in there, then you get back up there and just recommit to changing your mindset. So I'm happy and grateful for being executive director or presidential director. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm happy and grateful that I'm taking these supplements. I'm happy and grateful for my team members and there is so much to be grateful for in this business we're in. I mean, it really is a blessing. That's another thing I want to say. If people feel like you want to go for it, like this is a good fit for you, I want to really encourage you, play as full out as you possibly can. If you enjoy it and you feel like, there's something for sure meant to be about this for me, play full out. I mean, Louie and I are so grateful for so many areas of our lives that we have played full out, and it's more fun. It's much more fun if you're playing fully.
Yeah. And that's a partnership with commitment, isn't it?
Yes.
It's fully committed.
Yes. And our excitement and our enthusiasm, it just builds on itself, so, yeah.
Okay. Is there any other questions? Because I know if there's any part of you and you can send them privately. So if you send it via the Q&A, if you don't want it to be public, then it can be private as well. But I know people tend to feel, I think I'd really like to ensure that people who are brand new in partnering with Manatech or in a bit of a hiccup or a roadblock, that you walk away with some tools and some inspiration of how to serially, because it's the, and I think the most important thing is that even really successful people still go through times of feeling they're up against some personal roadblock. And so it's not, please leave this and know it's not just you.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody's question here about competing commitments, how to manage, I can identify with this because I sort of got sidelined by a charity that I'm working with, and it seems to suck up all my time. So how do you internally manage that, Marion?
Okay, so if it's, if it'd be good if that person maybe gave some examples, but so like it's family members, say, you have young children or something, and I've got to get my kids to their soccer games and their I mean, there are priorities in life. I mean, and for me, fortunately, my children are older when I got involved with Manatech, so I wasn't running to soccer games. But if I were running to soccer games, I would be talking with the other parents and creating a relationship. So, and you talked about your charities just now, Sharon. I mean, I just find it so natural for me. And it's not that I'm even, quote, prospecting when I go to, I volunteer at a concert association in our community. I just find, and I think I was always interested in people before, but I'm even more interested as a result of Manatech. So I just, it's interesting. Sometimes when I observe how, say if I'm at this concert association and there are other volunteers there, I look at how other people don't reach out to other people. I'm always reaching out and saying, what brought you to this? What is it you like about this organization that, which one of these jobs do you enjoy the most? And I'm genuinely interested. I mean, it's like, I find people to be interesting. And so wherever I am, I can always quote, be creating relationship and doing some of the basics related to this business,
it's being a good citizen, isn't it?
And I'm not even thinking, oh, this person might end up buying some product from me. I'm just like, oh, this is somebody who seems interesting. I get to know this. So I swim every day. So I'm always, the people I'm swimming with, it's we're chatting, and so, and I think I've just created that habit. The other thing I guess I want to say that I feel is a benefit of being a part of Manatech is when over the years, because we've been with Manatech now 24 years, when our team members and all the people I know crossline and who have been involved, who we've all become as people is just amazing to me. As far as stepping into greater leadership, having more confidence, being friendlier, kinder. I mean, it is just awesome. So what this does to us internally as human beings is really one of the biggest gifts.
So for those of you listening today, I love how you've described it. And Marion, it is a different way. But a couple weeks ago, we had Ray Robbins on, and he talked about going into a Starbucks, I think it was, with his energy, and nobody could really be a Ray, I don't think, but maybe there's someone on here. But his energy is just that he's magnetic and he's attracted. The words I use, who's praying to hear about Manatech from me? Because people are praying for what we have.
Yes.
So who's just waiting for us? So that's my strongest magnetic mindset, is who's praying to hear from me today. And whether that's financial or health-wise.
That's
we
beautiful.
have solutions, don't we?
Yes. And even just asking that question directs the energy. It's life response. And soon you'll, that person shows, it's just beautiful and magical and spiritual. I mean, it really is the way spirit works.
Yeah, absolutely. And Marion, what happens when people have hiccups in regards to people rejecting network marketing, rejecting our profession?
Well, let me think. I have to admit, I don't think I've had a lot of people say to me, "Oh, that's network marketing," or "Oh, I don't like it." And maybe it's because I think it's so amazing. You know,
Yeah.
if we hadn't heard that audio tape and I hadn't gotten this company's up to something good, I mean, we kind of got in the back door. It's like we didn't
Yes,
even
by
really
accident. Yeah.
quite know what it was. But now knowing what it is, I mean, anybody who has any inclination at all towards doing network marketing, I totally encourage it. I mean, it's like, wow, the freedom. I look at my life, and I'm in a number of different meditation groups and women's groups and different things like that. I know as a woman, I have made more money than any of these women. And
Yeah.
they're beautiful, wonderful, successful people. It's like, how did that happen?
Mm.
I mean, it's truly amazing. And as I say, health-wise, friends-wise, the traveling, the whole package, the residual income. I
The
mean,
culture, isn't it? The culture is amazing.
oh, it's totally amazing. I mean, we are also lucky this is the company we landed in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I think because I have it so strong inside myself that if somebody said that, honest to God, I don't think I have people say to me, "Oh, is this network marketing?" I mean, it's like I am so solid internally about what a blessing and what a gift this is. I mean, I'm not even attracting those people.
Mm.
It's
So for
interesting.
anybody that identifies with this, maybe run around the house so I'm happy and grateful for network marketing every morning. That would be
Yeah, and
start to push into
and
that.
specifically for Manatech, this is such a good, I mean, healthy, and I think it's probably true for a lot of companies actually. But I feel like just, I mean, Al Balla, Terry Bayless, Ray Robbins, the quality, the kindness, the caring, the
Mm.
genuineness. This is an amazing. We are, as a community, an amazing group of people. So,
Absolutely. And Marion, we're just in the last few minutes here. Um, what do you feel like you'd like to leave people, to everybody here listening now or later will be wanting to be the best they can be in their partnership with Manatech as a business? Where do you see us going in the next 5 years as a company?
uh, exploding. I think, yeah. I mean, I think because what we have to offer is so good across all areas. I mean, health-wise, financially, just community, everything we're just going to continue to grow and grow and grow. And it's always a good time to get in. I mean, nobody should ever feel like, oh, I wish I had known about this 20 years ago. Today is a great day to know about this. I mean, and it's whatever you want to make of it. It's like you decide and really give it some thought. And, we kind of grew into it. I mean, and we grew into it because we started enjoying it. It was fun, and it was like, wow, we're helping a lot of people and, we're having a good time. And so it just has gotten better and better, actually.
It's like, I like to call it right livelihood, because there's
Absolutely.
everything positive, isn't it? It's got positive culture, positive ethics. It's
Yeah.
authentic. It makes a difference on any level, whether it's health or finances.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just good. If anybody had any limiting beliefs that they feel are blocking them, if they wanted to maybe send an email to you and you send them on to me, I'm happy to give people suggestions for intents that they might want to use to counteract it.
Yeah. So my email is info@richerlives, RICHERLIVES.com.au if you don't have it. Or really easy to reach me on the Facebook page, Australasian Connect. If you send a message there, I'd like to start asking this every week. Make sure you're connected by sending a message to the Facebook page, because then you also get text notifications for these events. So, and I can pass your query on to Marion. So Marion, God bless you. Thank you so
God
much
bless
for
you
being here.
all of you. And it's really a pleasure being with you. And I look forward to seeing you at some event. Although
Excellent.
I guess our next one's going to be just North America.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
think it's only biannual now, the Global Manifest, I
yeah,
think.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, blessings to all of you.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, next week we're having a children's wellness recovery testimony week. So I need all of your help. That takes a bit of, but it adds so much value, and it's so heartwarming to hear them. So make sure if you know someone, a child who's benefited from nutrition, that you get them in touch with me. So Marion, thank you. Have a great Friday evening and weekend, and all the best to all of you that are here today. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Bye
See
bye.
ya. Bye-bye.